Don't take any wooden nickels to supersize your business. Yep, that's a nickel. And before you freak out, I know it's COVID, I sanitize and watch the nickel before I bid it, right? But that tells me it's really nickel, it's not wood, right? This idiom, I love this idiom, don't take any wooden nickels. It's popular, it's a popular idiom today. I know I'm sure you've heard it. If you haven't, share in the comments below because I'd be really curious about that. It, of course, comes from the early 1900s, so it's a pretty modern expression, and it describes a practice, a thing that happened when in America they started to make the migration from the rural areas, from the agricultural to the big cities. As people moved from the country into the city, there were shysters or con people or con men that would try to pass off counterfeit fake nickels. And they weren't actually made of wood, but the expression wood nickel was used to describe when they would try to get people or give away and hand out these fake money and pass it off and get it into circulation to people that were like the Hicks and the Okies from the country, right? That's the reason I use those terms is I was called those terms by my cousins growing up. So don't take any wooden nickel with respect to our businesses. A wooden nickel cheat you. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. This definitely applies to our business, not only from the don't let vendors, business partners, and other people take advantage of you standpoint, but also how we treat the people that we interact with. How do we treat our vendors? How do we treat our suppliers? How do we treat our customers? How do we treat the people that we partner with in order to do different? And you're like, well, I don't really partner with anybody. Well, you do if you've got customers, right? You do if you ever do a joint venture, or if you interview someone for your podcast, or if you do any type of research or interacting with people, you interact with people, right? Every business is about relationships. If we didn't have relationships, we wouldn't have a business. And in every relationship, we want to make sure that we are following the golden rule. Treat other people the way that we want to be treated. There's a reciprocity, which is actually a universal law, and we can choose to follow it or we can choose not to. But I think more and more business owners nowadays are understanding that if they give value, if they give great value to people, they get business in return. You attract the people that you want to do business with by providing great value. Excuse me, definitely got a cloggy throat today. More coffee, more coffee. So make sure that you're considering the customer experience, right? Do they feel change? Or change? Does anybody even use hardly nickels and pennies and dimes anymore? I use them to collect, to save up for things I want to do that are fun with my granddaughter. I don't know about you, but I've always had a jar of change where all my change just goes into. Not much shopping with COVID-19, so the change jar hasn't been filling up very fast, but it will. The world's starting to open up again. So don't take any wooden nickels. I actually am up at the cabin, so I looked for a wooden nickel. I think anybody has one up here? No. Then people use drink tokens, entrance tokens, or souvenirs to get into places or to remind you of places that you kind of like a business card, but it's an actual wooden token. One of my favorites I got from a training at Procter & Gamble when I worked at making toilet paper. I didn't make it. I managed teams that made toilet paper, but we had what was called a round to it, and it reminded us to take action, because everybody always says, well, I'll do it when I get around to it. And I'm sure I still have it. I just moved, and so it's probably in a jewelry box or something somewhere, but I know I've saved that round to it because it's such a visual reminder of taking action and doing something, not just talking about it, but action. So affect our business. Make sure that you're tapping into not only your brain and what you think you should do when it comes to treating your customers, choosing your partners, and serving and deciding what you're going to do in your business. I've been involved with, sometimes we don't listen to our intuition. Sometimes our ego takes over and we make choices and decisions for our businesses that aren't optimal, right? Then we learn and we do better next time. I've had bad business partners. I'm divorced, so I obviously had a partner that wasn't right for me. Well, I did the same thing in businesses till I knew better. And just because something seems good on the surface, you got to do your homework. You have to do your research. You have to look into it and think for yourself, and not only say on paper and then come to find out that there's a total mismatch, or there's stuff that doesn't appear on paper because it's been hidden away or covered up, and then you find out and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? And guess what? We always get out of it. We don't always get out of it 100%. We sure get out of it with a great lesson and a great story to tell, and things that we can learn to not do next time. And sometimes we learn that we need to put our egos in check and realize that everybody doesn't know what we do. And we only find that out sometimes through experience. Wish it weren't so, but sometimes there's things that we just have to learn for ourselves. So that's it. That's our idiom for today. Don't take any wooden nickels. Go out and treat people the way you want to be treated. Give incredible value, and guess what? You'll get incredible value back. Have an absolutely amazing day. Share your experiences with this idiom in the comments below. And if there's an idiom that you would love to know the origin of, what it means, apply it to your business life, ask me that in the comments below, or feel free to direct message me. Yep, one of those ones. And I'll be glad to look into it. Otherwise, have an amazing day, and I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how can you apply it to your business right now? Take care. Bye. Don't take any wooden nickels.